So again, introduction of the book of Zohar, article the 10th commandment, item 237. The 10th commandment is to wear tefillin and to complete himself in the high form. As it is written, and God created man in his own image. It is also written, your head upon you is like the Carmel. This is the upper Rosh, the head tefillin of the upper king Havaya, in inscribed letters. Each letter in the name Havaya is one portion in the tefillin. Thus, the holy name is inscribed in the portions of the tefillin in the order of the letters. The name of the Lord is called upon you, and they will fear you. Are the head tefillin, the holy name, by the order of the letters. Explanation. The commandment to pardon the poor was only the beginning for extending the upper form, the image of God. Through the commandment to pardon the poor, Ima was included in Malchut, as it is written, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. This is the meaning of Ima lending her clothes to her daughter. Through the incorporation of Malchut in Ima, the letters Ele fell to the place of Zon, and only the letters Mi remained in Ima. It is considered that the letters Ele of Abba ve'Ima descended to Zon. Abba took Zeranpin, Ima took the Nukva, and they became actual Zon, since the upper one that descends to the lower one becomes like it. Through them, Zon obtained the katnut of the tselem of Elokim, Vak without a Rosh. Since Ima, too, lost her Gal through this participation, because the three vessels Ele fell from her, and the letters Mi, Keter Chochma, remained in her, lacking the bottom three of the vessels and the first three of the lights. Thus, lights of Ruach Nefesh remained in her vessels of Mi, the light of Ruach in the vessel of Keter, and the light of Nefesh in the vessel of Chochma. For this reason, she could impart only Vak without Rosh upon Zon. It follows that Zon has not been completed in the upper form, which are Mochin of Gar, called the Tselem of Elokim. This is why the 10th commandment is to wear tefillin and to complete himself in the upper form. Through the commandment of tefillin, one extends the Gal to Zon, which are the completion of the upper tselem. Even though this refers to the lower man, and the Zon have necessarily been completed by now, for they would not be able to beget Naran to the lower man, before they rose to the place of Abba ve'Ima themselves and grow in their mochin like them. Why do we say that Ima is still in Katnut? You should know that when Zon obtained the mochin of Abba ve'Ima, they clothe Abba ve'Ima and they are truly like them, since the lower that rises to the upper truly becomes like it. Hence, everything we now detect in Abba ve'Ima refers to Zon that became Abba ve'Ima. For all the conducts applied in Abba ve'Ima for begetting Zon, Mochin of Zon of Atzilut, apply completely so in Zon, that became Abba ve'Ima when they beget the Mochin, the Naran, for the lower man. There is no difference whatsoever. Hence, there is no need to change the names at all. And now Zon are called Abba ve'Ima, and the Naran of the lower man are named Zon. Remember this for all the rest. And God created man in his own image. Yechida Chaya have no vessels. Only Naran have the vessels Binah and Zon. Even when we explicitly say vessel of Keter, it refers to Binah and Zon of Keter. Also, Binah and Zon are divided into 10 Sfirot through the correction of lines. The 3 lines of Binah are Chabad, the 3 lines of Zeranpin are Chagat, and the 3 lines of Nukva are Nehim. This number applies to light of Chasadim, but for dispensing of illumination of Chokhmah, Binah was divided into 2 phases, Abba ve'Ima and Yeshut, Chabad Chagat, which, along with Zat of Zon, are 13 Sfirot. In Gematria, this is Echad, implying to the complete name. This is so because Keter and Chokhmah were hidden in Chokhmah Stima of Arichanpin, and only his Bina illuminates all the Mochin of Atzilut, dividing into Abba ve'Ima and Yeshut of Atzilut, her Gar in Abba ve'Ima, and the Vak in Yeshut. Abba ve'Ima are called the Mem of Tzelem, a pure ring. Since the Mem is like a closed ring, closing the Mochin from all round. Yeshut are called Lamed of Tzelem, because Lamed raises her head above, which implies to Mochin of Gar. As it is written, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runs in it and is set up on high. This is so because Yeshut is a tower, and Zeranpin is the righteous who runs in that tower and is set up very high. Thus, Abba ve'Ima are a ring that closes the Mochin. The light of Chokhmah will not appear in them because of their great height. Since the light of Chokhmah in them, Chokhmah Stima, disappeared from all the Partzufim of Atzilut. And there is only light of Chasadim in them, pure air, since air is the light of Ruach. It is also called hidden air, because the Yud never departed from their Avir. However, since Yeshut are Zat of Binah, Zon that are included in Binah are not called hidden air, since during the imparting of Mochin of Gadlut to Zon, Yud went out of their Avir, and they became Or, Chokhmah and Mochin of Gar. For this reason, Yeshut is called a tower that flies in the air. A tower, migdal in Hebrew, means gadlut of Gal. And because these mochin are not fixed in zon, it follows that during the katnut, zon became avir because the yod entered the o. At the time of gadlut, the yod comes out of the avir, which becomes o. This is the reason why it is regarded as a flying tower, due to the correction in it, in the avir. Also, Zeranpin is called the tzaddik in Tselem, because it is the tzaddik, righteous, who runs in the tower that is set up on high. The three-letter Tselem are Zeranpin, Tzadi, Yeshsut, Lamed, and Abba Veima, Mem. Also, they are Chabad, Abba Veima, Chochma, enclosed in a pure ring, since they are Chochma Stima. Yeshsut is Bina. But when she ascends to wash Arichanpin, the Yud comes out of her Avir and gives Chochma, like a tower that flies in the air. Zeranpin, which runs in the tower, receives the Mochin, Dat. Hence the Mochin are always called by the name Tselem. It was said that Chabad are the letters Mem, Lamed, Tzadi of Tselem, and must not be mingled with the three lines in the Mochin, which are called Chabad. This is because those Chabad of Tselem are not in three lines, but are three complete Patzufim clothing one another. Since Chochma is Mem from Tselem, Abba Veima that clothe from the Chazeh down inside Bina, which is Yeshsut. Lamed from Tselem. And Yeshsut clothe from the Chazeh and below inside the Dat, Zeranpin, Tzadi from Tselem. The 10th commandment is to wear tefillin and to complete himself in the high form, as it is written, and God created man in his own image. Meaning that through the tefillin, mochin of Gal are extended in the order of the letters Tzadi, Lamed, Mem. As it is written, and God created man in his own image, which is the upper brightness of Atzilut that Adam HaRishon received when he was created. We first extend them to Zon, and from there these mochin bestow upon us as well. The head tefillin is the name of the upper holy king, Havaya, in inscribed letters. The tefillin are called Carmel, since Carmel means Kar Maleh, with abundance. As it is written, your head upon you is like the Carmel. When the upper wash of Zeranpin, as well as that of the Nukva, are clothed in a head tefillin, the upper mochin of Tselem, similar to the Carmel, like a pasture filled with abundance. These mochin are called the name of the High Holy King, the four letters Havaya, as is the order of the letters Yud, He, Vav, He. The reason why he emphasizes Havaya in inscribed letters is that each letter is inscribed in the Patzuf in itself. Since there are 4 letters Havaya in each Patzuf, 10 Sfirot. Hence, this refers to inscribed letters where each is a complete Patzuf in itself. Each letter in the name Havaya is one out of the 4 portions in the tefillin. The holy name is engraved in them in the proper order of the letters. A portion means a complete parzuf in and of itself, and in the mochin, each letter of the name Havaya becomes a complete parzuf in and of itself. They are arranged in boxes in the order of Yud He Vav He. This is the Rashi, Tefillin, since the Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin are arranged in boxes in the order Yud He Vav. 238. The first portion in the Tefillin is sanctified to me every firstborn. This is Yud of Havaya, holiness, meaning Chokhmah, the firstborn of all the upper holy ones. It is the first offspring of every womb. Through that fine trail that comes down from Yud and opens the womb to bear fruits and offspring as it should be. This is the upper holy one. Upper Abba Ve'ima are implied in the Yud of Havaya. Yud implies to Abba, and the filling of Yud, Vav Daled, implies to Ima. Parzuf Abba Ve'ima is called holiness, and is called firstborn. Yeshut and Zon are called holiness, only when they receive the holiness from upper Abba Ve'ima. Hence, Yud of Havaya is called the firstborn of all the upper holy ones, who is the firstborn of all the holy Parzufim of Atzilut. Since the Kedusha for the Parzufim of Atzilut extends from Abba Ve'ima, because the light of Chokhmah is called holiness. Abba Ve'ima, Mem in Tselem, are Chokhmah of Atzilut. Since Chokhmah Stima dresses in them and disappears in them. Hence, they are only pure air, light of Chasadim, since this Chokhmah was hidden in Rosh Arichanpin. The Parzufim can receive Chokhmah only from Bina, which return to being Chokhmah when she rises to Rosh of Arichanpin and unites there with Chokhmah Stima through Abba Ve'ima. Then Bina is called Chokhmah as well, and this Chokhmah is called Chokhmah of the 32 paths. Thus, even Bina, which returns to being Chokhmah, is called holiness, only because she receives from Chokhmah Stima in Abba Ve'ima through her ascent to Arichanpin. It is all the more so with the rest of the Parzufim of Atzilut, which receive only from this Bina, which returned to being Chokhmah. The first offspring of every womb, through that fine trail that descends from the Yud, which opens the womb to bear fruits and offspring. It is so because it is regarded as 3 phases: head, torso, and trail. Its upper tip is called Rosh, which implies to Arichanpin and is hidden and clothed in Abba Ve'ima. The goof of the Yud is called torso, implying to Parzuf Abba Ve'ima themselves. The bottom tip of the Yud is called trail, implying to the Yesodot of Abba Ve'ima at the end of their partzuf, and it is called a fine trail. However, the name trail relates primarily to Yesod of Abba, since Yesod of Ima is called path. As it is written, "And your paths in the mighty waters." It is so because when the abundance in Chasadim is great, they are called mighty waters, where through the coupling of trail and path, which never stops, mighty waters flow onto the worlds ceaselessly. And before Partzuf Abba Ve'ima was established in a connection of trail and path, no abundance was imparted upon the worlds. Therefore, the first offspring of every womb, through that fine trail that descends from the Yod, the path of Ima is called a womb, since all the mercy are given out from there. Before Abba Ve'ima were established in a joining of trail and path, it was blocked. It opened only through the fine trail of Abba. This is why the fine trail is called the first offspring of every womb, which opens the womb to bear fruits and offspring, since first offspring means opening. From the time the fine trail of Abba joins with her, Ima gives out fruits and offspring abundantly, as it should be, as it is written, "And your paths in the mighty waters."
239. The second portion is, "And it shall be when the Lord brings you." The letter Hey of Havaya is Binah, the hall. A womb opens through the Yod in 50 hidden openings, corridors, and rooms within it. That opening, which the Yod made in that palace, is to hear the voice in it which comes out of the shofar, the horn, Binah. Since this shofar is blocked on all sides, and the Yod comes and opens it to bring the sound out of it. And once she opens it, she blows in it and brings a sound out of it to deliver slaves to freedom. This is so because the Hey of Havaya implies to Partzuf Yeshsud, the Lamed of Tselem, a tower that flies in the air. This is the palace whose womb opens through the Yod in 50 openings. Since Abba Ve'ima are blocked air that does not open, the Mem of Tselem, a ring on their mochin, and the Yod does not come out of their avir, air, in such a way that they impart the light of Chokhmah. Hence, they give out only pure air, light of Chasadim. But Yeshsut, the Lamed of Tselem, Binah, are considered a palace. Her womb opens through the Yod in 50 openings, imparting Chokhmah to Zon through their ascent to Rosh of Arich Anpin, where the Binah turns to Chokhmah. This Binah is called the 50 gates of Binah, since in here are Kachab Zon, in each of which are 10 Sefirot, thus 50. Also, each of the 50 Sfirot is divided into rooms and corridors. Chagat are called rooms. Nehi are called corridors, indicating that they are not vessels of reception for themselves, but for letting out and letting into the rooms. The second portion in the Tefillin, and it shall be when the Lord brings you, implies to the Hey of Avaya, the hall, whose womb opens through the Yod, Yeshut of Atzilut, whose womb opens to impart Chokhmah to Zon. This is the opening that the Yod made in that palace, to hear in it the voice that comes out of that shofar, since that shofar is blocked from all sides. It is so because when Yeshut, Binah, was associated with Malchut, the three Sfirot Ele, which are Binah and Zon of the Guf of Yeshut, descended to Zon of Atzilut, and the two letters Mi remained in Yeshut. Subsequently, by raising Man, she lowered her bottom hay from her nikve enayim to the peh once more, as she was prior to the association. At that time, the three letters Ele rise back to her, and the name Elokim is completed again. The Zon rise with the Ele that rose back to Binah. Even though the letters Ele have already risen and connected to Binah, and the name Elokim was completed, it is still considered that the name Elokim is deep and hidden, since there is only light of Chokhmah in it, and illumination of Chokhmah cannot be received in Ele except through clothing of Chasadim. Hence it is considered that these letters Ele are as a shofar in which the Zon that rose with them to Binah, regarded as sound, are dressed. It is so because they are the ones who raise with them the Zon to Binah, as they are incorporated in them from the time of Katnut, and they carry the Zeranpin within them. That opening which the Yod made in that palace is to hear in it the sound that comes out of that shofar. The Yod, which are upper Abba ve'Ima, impart upper illumination to lower the bottom hay from Nikve and Naim of Yeshut back to the Peh, and raise the three letters Ele that were in Zon, reconnecting them to the Binah, as they were prior to their association with the Malchut. It follows that the Yod opened the palace of Yeshut to impart Mochin to Zeranpin from the shofar, which are the letters Ele that she raised. This is so because the Zon too rise with the letters Ele to Binah, where they receive Chokhmah. Hearing in it the sound that comes out of the shofar, Binah, meaning to emanate Zeranpin with the Mochin of Gadlut, called a voice, and whose emanation is regarded as making a sound. The shofar is blocked on all sides, both from Chasadim and from Chokhmah, since the letters ele, which are called shofar, fall in the place of zon and are blocked there from both gal and light of chasadim. Hence, they need two corrections. One, to elevate them and connect them to Binah, so they obtain their gal, light of Chokhmah. Two, to give light of Chasadim in them, so it becomes a clothing for Chokhmah. The Yod came and opened it to bring a sound out of it. This is the first correction, that the Yod draws the upper illumination to the Hey, the palace of Yirsut. This lowers the bottom Hey to her place and elevates Ele with the Zon within them, connecting them to Binah. Thus, they obtain illumination of Chokhmah, which is also mochin to the Zer Anpin, which rose with the letters Ele. However, the illumination of Chokhmah is still hidden and does not shine due to absence of Chasadim. For this reason, it is considered that the sound has not yet come out, meaning that Zer Anpin has not been born yet. It was said that the Hey came and opened it to bring a sound out of it, that is, to bring the sound out of it through the second correction. But now it has not yet come out. When she opened it, she blew in it and brought a sound out of it to deliver slaves to freedom. This is the second correction. Since after he opened the palace, connecting the letters Ele with Zon back to Binah, where they obtained light of Chokhmah, he blew in it, meaning that the Yod blew air into the shofar, since Avir, air, is light of Chasadim. And since the shofar, the letters Ele received Avir as well, meaning light of Chasadim, he brought out and begot the Zer Anpin, sound, and brought him out to his place complete. This is so because through the clothing of Chasadim, which the Yod blew, Chokhmah could clothe in it and can be admitted into Zer Anpin. And hence this mochin that Zer Anpin obtained, the sound, delivers slaves to freedom. That is, Zer Anpin gives his illumination to the worlds, and then the children of Israel are rewarded with mochin of Gal, which are called freedom. 240. Israel came out of Egypt in the blowing of that shofar, so that this shofar, and this is how this shofar will be blown at the end of days. Any redemption comes out of that shofar, Binah, and that shofar is present in the story of the Exodus from Egypt too, since she came out of this shofar by the Yod that opened her womb and brought out her sound for the redemption of the slaves. This is the Hey, the second letter from the holy name. It is so because all the mochin that are imparted to Zon come from that shofar. These are the letters Ele. Those great mochin that Zer Anpin received to bring Israel out of Egypt were also from that shofar. And also the mochin that will appear in the end of days for the complete redemption will be from that shofar in the same manner. This is the reason why there is Exodus from Egypt in this portion, And it shall be when the Lord brings you in the tefillin. The mochin that appeared for the exodus from Egypt came from that shofar in Yeshut by Abba ve'Ima, the Yod of Havaya, that the womb of Yeshut opened, which are the letters Ele, bringing out its sound. Zeranpin, through obtainment of this mochin for the redemption of the slaves who cause Israel's exit from enslavement to freedom. Know that Zeranpin and Nukva are called voice and speech only upon the obtainment of mochin of chaya, and not on the rest of the degrees which are less than the degree of chaya. Also, all the redemptions come from the mochin of chaya. 241. The third portion is the unification of Hear, O Israel. It is Vav of Havaya, which contains everything, which is Zeranpin, and in whom there is the unification of everything, for they unite in him, and he takes everything. The fourth portion is, and it shall come to pass, if indeed you listen, the wholeness of the two sides, Chesed and Gvura, in which the assembly of Israel, the Gvura below, Malchut, unites. This is the bottom hay of Havaya, which takes them and is incorporated with them. The third portion in the Tefillin, Hear, O Israel, Zeranpin, Vav of Havaya, includes all four portions in the Tefillin. This is so because even though the first two portions sanctify, and it shall be when the Lord brings you, are Abba ve'Ima and Yeshut, Chochma and Binah, they do not have Abba ve'Ima and Yeshut in themselves. Rather, they are Abba ve'Ima and Yeshut that clothe in the Rosh of Zon, Chochma and Binah, in the mochin of Zeranpin, which are called Mem Lamed of Tselem of Zeranpin. Also the fourth portion, and it shall come to pass, if indeed you listen, Nukva of Zeranpin does not mean Nukva herself, but only the Nukva included in Zeranpin, who is called in him by the name Moach of Gvura of Zeranpin. There are three Mochin in Zeranpin, which are Chabad, Mem Lamed Tzadi of Tselem of Zeranpin. Also, they are Hubtum in the Mochin of Zeranpin, since in Dat, Tzadi, there are Chesed and Gvura. The Chesed in Dat is regarded as Zeranpin himself, and the Gvura in Dat is regarded as the incorporation of Nukva. These are the four portions in the Tefillin. Thus, Zeranpin, Vav of Havaya, includes all four portions, and there is unification of everything in it. For all the unifications applied to Abba ve'Ima and Yeshut are only in Zeranpin, only for the purpose of Zeranpin, since the Parzufim that precede Zeranpin are always in unification and do not need man from the lower ones in order to unite them. All the unifications that we make in the upper Parzufim through man are not at all for themselves, but only for Zeranpin, in whom they unite. There is no unification for Chub, for Binah to return to being Chochma for the lower ones, except through the ascent of Zeranpin to them for Man. When Zeranpin rises to Bina for Man, Bina rises to the Rosh of Arichanpin and receives Chokhmah to give to Zeranpin, but not for herself. Since in her nature, in the 10 Sfirot of direct light, Bina is only light of Chasadim, as it is written, for he desires mercy. She has no interest in rising to the Rosh of Arich Anpin to make a coupling there with Chokhmah. But Zeranpin that rises to Bina evoke her to give Chokhmah to him. Thus, Bina unites with Chokhmah only by Zeranpin and for Zeranpin. They unite in Zeranpin, and he takes everything, since even the light of Chokhmah that Bina takes for Zeranpin does not appear in Bina's place at all, but only in the place of Zeranpin, from the Chazeh down. Thus, Zeranpin takes all those mochin and not all his superiors. And it shall come to pass, if indeed you listen, contains both sides, Chokhmah and Gvura, in which the assembly of Israel is united, the Gvura below. The portion Shema here is Zeranpin, Vav of Havaya, the upper unification, in which the love appears only on the side of Chesed. The portion, and you shall love the Lord your God, which is all love, without any judgment in this portion. But in the fourth portion, and it shall come to pass, if indeed you listen, the bottom hay of Havaya, Nukva of Zeranpin that is included in it, Gvura in that of Zeranpin, love appears in it on both sides, on the side of Chesed and on the side of harsh judgment. This is the bottom unification of blessed be the name of the glory of his kingship forever and ever, where Nukva of Zeranpin, called the assembly of Israel, the Gvura below, unites in them. Yet, this is not the Nukva herself, but the Gvura below, in the Moach of that. This is the bottom hay of Havaya, which takes them and is included in them. Since the Gvura in that, the bottom hay of Havaya, takes all the mochin in the upper unification of Hear, O Israel, and is included in them. For only in her are the mochin completed. This is so because there is room in her to disclose love on both sides, since the harsh judgment that completes the love is not above her. It is written, your head upon you is like the Carmel, implying to the head tefillin. After Zeranpin dresses in all four mochin implied in the four portions, which are the three letters Tzadi, Lamed, Mem, it is considered that his head is like the Carmel, with the letters of Kar Maleh, a pasture filled with abundance.
242. The tefillin are the letters of the holy name. This is why it is written, your head upon you is like the Carmel. These are the head tefillin, and the dalet of your head is the hand tefillin, Malchut, who is poor facing upward, Zeranpin. She too has completeness, such as above. Malchut is the hand tefillin, a pour facing upward, pour toward the upper world. This means that the upper world, Bina, participates in her to complete her. Also, she has completeness such as above. Since now, she receives the entire wholeness of the upper world, Bina, through the unification of blessed be the name of the glory of his kingship forever and ever, in the fourth portion of Zeranpin. And since she is not the Nukva in the Guf of Zeranpin, but a separated Nukva of Zeranpin, she takes all four portions from him, which are Chub, Chug, Chesed Bina, Chesed Gvura of Zeranpin, as she is a separate and complete Partzuf. However, they are in one box, and not in four separate boxes, like the Tefillin of Zeranpin. The reason is that a portion is the light, and the box is the vessel. It is known that light and vessel extend from each coupling. Hence, the Zeranpin, whose four portions, which are his four mochin, chub, chug, extend to him in four couplings, and he has four boxes too, a specific box for each portion. But the Nukva, in whom there is no coupling, but she rather receives all the four mochin, which are the four portions, in a single coupling from Zeranpin. Hence, she has only one box for all four portions. 243. The king is captivated by tresses, tied and held in those boxes of the tefillin to properly unify in that holy name. Hence, one who is corrected in them is in the image of God, as the holy name is unified in God. Here, too, the holy name is properly unified. He created them male and female, meaning a head tefillin and a hand tefillin, and it is all one. The king is captivated by tresses. Zeranpin is tied and unified in these boxes because the boxes in which the portions are placed are called tresses. Tresses are troughs of water from which livestock drink. Similarly, the mochin, being the waters of Chokhmah and the waters of Chasadim, are tied and covered in their vessels, which are the boxes. This is why the boxes are called tresses. He is tied and connected to those boxes to properly unite with the holy name. The boxes, Tanhi of Tvuna, are called the big Dalet in the word Echad, one. It was said about it, and let the dry land appear. Through the appearance of this dry land in Zeranpin, he can then give the mochin to the Nukva. And what was dry becomes a land for bearing fruits and offspring, and for planting trees. Thus, were it not for his boxes, which are the dry land, Zeranpin would have been unable to give the mochin to his nukva. Zeranpin is tied and connected to the boxes of the portions which come from the dry land, to properly unite in that holy name, so he can unite and give to the holy name. Nukva, as it should be, in disclosure, so that what was dry land becomes a land for bearing fruits and offspring and for planting trees. This is, the king is captivated by tresses. Hence, one who was established with these 4 portions has the image of God. The lower man who puts tefillin extends the mochin, chub, called tselem, from zon. Since chub are called mem lamed, chug, chochma, gvura are called tzadi. And this is the image of God, as the holy name, Nukva, is unified in Bina, Elokim, God. The holy name is unified in man. He created them male and female, head tefillin and hand tefillin, and it is all one. And God created man in his own image. The mochin, chub, are called tselem, and there are male and female in them, tselem of Zaranpin and tselem of Nukva, head tefillin and hand tefillin.